Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma and today I'm going to be telling you all about the grammar and punctuation myths that you can absolutely bin off. They're bullshit, so get ready to learn what you need to unlearn. Let's go! So before I get into the nitty-gritty of the video, I just want to remind you that if at any point you find yourself having fun or learning something, that you should hit the like button or subscribe to my channel for more writing-related badassery from me. Okay, so let's start with a nice, easy one, shall we? Not all titles have to be in title case. So what do I mean by title case? Title case is basically when you write a title, you capitalise the first letter of every word, that is to say except words like the, of, a, and. You don't capitalise those, but you capitalise all of the rest of them. That's traditionally how in school we're taught to write the title of a blog post or an article or a web page or a subtitle. Nowadays, you don't need to do that. Whoa! I know, right? I've worked with several companies wherein their guidelines, they just say sentence case for all titles, and it's purely a stylistic thing. Some people feel that having a title in sentence case, it looks friendly, it looks more approachable, makes people lose their shit, they can't help but capitalise it, it's ingrained behaviour. I'm here today to tell you, don't need to do that. Some titles, if you fancy it, don't need to be title case. Bin that shit right off. Next up, never start a sentence with a conjunction. Conjunctions are words like to, and, but, and we're told that you should never start a sentence with these words because they are typically words that join other words together. So if you have it at the start of the sentence, what's it joining? But here's the thing, Shania Twain did it, and I think we can all agree it was rather effective. This is another one that comes down to style. If you are writing for a brand that has a very colloquial, approachable, friendly, informal, relaxed, cool style, go ahead and start your sentence with a conjunction. In all seriousness though, if the sentence does make sense to have it in, for example Shania Twain, so you've got a car. It's slang, it's modern, it's how people speak, it's fine to have it in there. As long as you make sure that the entire construction of the paragraph that the sentence sits within, it fits nicely, you don't have anything to worry about. Go for it, whatever. Next up, you don't need to add a full stop or a comma to the end of a bullet point if that bullet point is not a full sentence. There is a huge compulsion to, if you've got a couple of words or a word in a bullet point, you just really want to put a full stop or a comma as though it's a list. You can resist that temptation, it's absolutely not necessary. If you're using a full sentence as a bullet point, put a full stop, that's fine. If you're using an entire paragraph as a bullet point, that's not a bullet point, don't do it. If you're using just a word or like a fragment, don't need any punctuation at the end of that. Resist the temptation. It feels wrong and it feels really naughty and bad, but go with it. You'll like it. Finishing a sentence with a preposition. Here's the thing, and this is another one, the third one in fact, that comes back to writing like you speak. Good writing should always be written as though it is being spoken. One of my main editing tips is to go back through and read my work aloud and to see whether or not it sounds as though that is something a person would say. So, I say, ending a sentence with a preposition is sometimes perfectly friggin' fine. Let me give you a good example here. I'm a YouTuber you can count on. On is a preposition. So, in theory, that entire sentence is not correct. To be correct, I would have to say, I'm a YouTuber on which you can count. How many people do you know speak like that? If I said that to you, you'd be like, what a prick! So I'm going to say it the wrong way because it sounds right when I say it out loud, because that's how people speak. So you see the jam that I'm in here. Next up, it's wrong to drop a pronoun. Or is it? So I've written an entire blog post on this in depth with examples, just in case you want to go away and have a read of that. It's really good. But essentially, a pronoun is a stand-in for a noun. Sometimes in a sentence you use your noun and then you don't need to use it again because that's done. For example, I could say to you, my name's Emma, this YouTube channel is mine. Mine is a pronoun because it's standing in for my name. So if I was to not use a pronoun, the sentence would be, my name's Emma, this YouTube channel is Emma's. So to avoid saying my name a second time, I can use a pronoun and it stands in for that. So when we drop a pronoun, we're effectively axing that whole piece out of the sentence. So instead of saying, do you want to get a pizza tonight? You being the pronoun, it would be, want to get a pizza tonight? Or instead of saying, I hope you had a great weekend, I can cut off I, which is the pronoun, and say, hope you had a great weekend. So in theory, cutting off that pronoun is wrong, and we shouldn't do it. It's wrong on a fundamental level because you need the pronoun to act as your stand-in noun to give the sentence an anchorage. But because of modern day speech and writing like you talk, you don't always need that pronoun in there, especially if you're writing an informal email or an email to a colleague, or you're writing a WhatsApp or a Skype message or on Slack or a text message, or you just have a tone of voice in your business that is incredibly informal. You don't always need it. So I think we can bin that rule off as a use it when you need it. My final point, splitting infinitives. We have been told since we were knee-high, never split an infinitive. They don't really tell you why, and they don't really tell you what an infinitive is. But I will. An infinitive is a verb that has another little bit attached onto it. Typically this is to, is the word. So I've actually written a blog post on this as well, which I'll link for you below in case you want to read, but the examples that I gave in my post are to dance, to vomit, to explode. Those are infinitives because it's the performing of an action, to do it, as it were. Both those words together are an infinitive. Therefore, when you chop them in half and put another word in the middle, you have split your infinitive. You have split the to from the verb. So, the most famous example of this is Star Trek, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Boldly, the word, is splitting up the infinitive to go, to boldly go. And the only argument in all of history for never splitting an infinitive is just some dude way back when in ancient times where they used candles as lights and didn't have MacBook Pros, and he just said he didn't like it. Oh, I just don't like it because you're doing something, so you don't need to do something with an adjective in the middle of it. You're already doing it. It just makes the sentence longer and it looks messy. So, for me, as a human, it's not really a very good reason. And I feel like I'll split those if I want, and I feel like you should too. Because it's not really a rule, it's just somebody's preference. And he doesn't rule my life. So there you have it. A whole bunch of grammar and punctuation rules that you absolutely don't need to follow. You can bin them off if you want to, and I often do. If you've got any questions about anything I have talked about here today, you can drop me a comment in the box below or find me on Twitter at @EJCownley and I'll have a little confab with you. If you've got any video requests you'd like to make, you can likewise leave a comment or find me on Twitter. And until then, I'll see you back here, same time, same place, next week for more Kiss My A's. Take care, have a good weekend.